some peace of mind. But TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat. And someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line. And Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just...
Hey, you guys, it's Mo, and we have a bunch of good stories for you and a thunderstorm moving through, so hold on to your butts and maybe I will buy that arc or make it. Good morning, Wolfram. Thank you for your modly mod duties. Good morning, Tammy and Super T. Squaw Bob, thank you for your modly mod duties. And over on Rumble, thank you too. And let's see, Greedy Bloke, good morning. Denise Sells, Mary, welcome. We have great news this morning. At least a good story about a hero. The actions before were not great, but I always like to highlight heroes. Good morning, Audio Coffee. Dramatic video shows a heroic Walmart shopper armed with a force multiplier and a former vet of the Marines. Excuse me, that confronted a knife-wielding maniac moments after he allegedly stabbed 11 people inside a Michigan store on Saturday night. Now, I cannot show you guys the cell phone footage. YouTube gets a little irritated when you show violence. But in wild cell phone footage shared on X, the brave man identified by family members as Marine veteran Derek Perry was seen yelling at the suspected attacker to drop the weapon in the parking lot of the Superstore in Traverse City, about 255 miles northwest of Detroit. Now, Perry is being praised for his actions, some even suggesting that he should be nominated for a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Oh my gosh, that's scary, John. I do hope all of the victims in this case are getting the medical help and then are open to getting the emotional support afterwards, because this has got to be something that is terrifying and you need time to process. Give this man the recognition his actions deserve, one commentator said. Good men who are armed save lives. Now, Perry's own daughter chimed in. She wrote on Facebook that his heroism is a proud daughter moment for her. His daughter-in-law added that the veteran is a true hero. The harrowing video that you can go look at, he shouts down the attacker while brandishing his, concealed carry weapon. Drop it, throw that knife, throw it away, the stand your ground hero says. Now, several other men standing along him, one of them pushing a Walmart shopping cart, helped to force the attacker back. The camera then pans to the Walmart entrance where one of the victims of the stabbing attack is seen laying on the ground. Other brave customers surrounded the attacker and ordered him to lay on the ground before the video ends. On Sunday, authorities identified the suspect as Bradford James Gilly, or Gill. So I haven't watched the news on this. I tend to take a news break on Sundays, so not sure how to pronounce it, but he is 42. So the attacker is 42. Now he faces charges of the T word and 11 accounts of assault with intent to murder following the shocking stabbing spree in Traverse City, a popular Michigan tourist destination. Now his victims range in age from 29 to 85, with 6 of them being over 60 years old. Traverse City County Sheriff Michael Shea said. And now they are also expected to survive, but they will have lifelong wounds and terror. Now, it was revealed that the suspect has a history of arrests for both drug offenses and vandalism. The horror began in the store at around 5 p.m. on Saturday after the man went on a stabbing spree, attacking shoppers at random. 6 were left in critical condition and 5 in serious condition, but on Sunday, just 4 were in serious condition and 7 were in fair condition, according to a statement from the Musan Medical Center. So I'm glad that these people are, getting better. A witness that was shopping in the Walmart with her fiance when the attack happened said that customers chased the attacker out of the store and held him in the parking lot until first responders were able to survive. It was very panicky, very scary. I've never witnessed anything like that, and I've lived in Traverse City my whole life. Angela Helfrich said on Click on Detroit. It was way too close. It could have been me or my family. I feel awful for all the victims and their families. Former Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, who lives in Traverse City, said he and her husband Chasen were shaken by the awful sense of violence and, the violence as well at the Walmart on Saturday. Again, Pete, I don't need to listen to you say anything, but that's just my personal opinion, so I read it anyway. Y'all, this particular headline, usually we don't call for divine powers this early, but believe me, we need divine powers for this story and possibly a vax for the T virus.
The key keep its grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack listening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
If you had a summer intern getting fired from a NYC law firm for biting multiple coworkers, I would go buy a lotto ticket because you are more on top of current events than I am. A twisted big law, summer intern was reportedly tossed from an elite Manhattan law firm after repeatedly burying the tooth and the whole tooth and nothing but the tooth. NYC, or New York Post, I'll let you have this one, but stop it with the puns. A summer associate at a white shoe firm, Sydney Austin, began biting colleagues and roaring at them the first day. And by the time she was canned, her body count had reached double digits. Okay, if on your first day you start growling and baring your teeth at people like you're a daggone feral dog, yeah, you're out. I mean, she bit more than, 10 people. That's enough. Now, the bites were not, quote, in an aggressive, we're beefing way, but rather in a quirky, faux manic pixie dream girl crossed with a Donner Party vibe. Yeah, this is not what we mean by transubstantiation. Although if we could have just gotten over that transubstantiation consubstantiation thing, we never would have broken with the Protestants. I'm confused. How is it a hot girl manic pixie Donner vibe bite? I don't know how you differentiate the bites. Like, she wasn't aggressive, it was a testing bite. I mean, okay. Although I've seen pics of the results post Big Law Biter, a nibble is probably too tame a word, the article's author wrote. It's unclear why so many people let this go on before reporting it, but the rumor is she's otherwise personable, and there was some reluctance to elevate the manner. She's a real good people person, but on Mondays she bites a little. Just bring a Slim Jim and you'll be fine. Now, a jaw-dropping account of the chomping spree was posted to X and said the girl sank her teeth into at least 10 colleagues, including other summer interns, associate lawyers, and even an HR rep at the firm's 7th Avenue offices. She didn't even let the HR people get away. It was such a repeated thing that her office mates started wearing long sleeve shirts to the office because she kept getting bit. A purported insider said, posting by the account at a real society on July 12th. An image posted to X also shows a mouse sized bruise on someone's outer bicep, an injury allegedly inflicted by the biting intern. Now, the law firm declined to comment, but an insider told the Post that the intern only bit 5 employees. Oh, well, I mean, how dare we over exaggerate? I mean, what's a little nibble between friends and colleagues? People are outright making things up at this point, said someone who claimed that, they worked with the biter. I just want to ask people to please remember that there's a human being on the other end of this story. Yeah, and it's one that bites, so I better have a muzzle before I visit her. Someone whose mental health is a genuine concern. Yeah, my concern for your mental health stops when you start attacking other people and biting them. Like, I can have all the concern for the fact that you didn't learn in kindergarten not to bite your friends. But once you leave bruise marks on people, I don't really care about your mental health as much anymore. She made like a really stupid mistake and she's paid the price for it. $20 allegedly in Minecraft, and this is just speculation that this is the biter chick right here on Reddit. Again, speculation. Now, Barack and Michelle Obama famously met at Sidney Austin's headquarters in Chicago in 1988 when Michelle was a young lawyer fresh out of Harvard Law School and was tasked with mentoring Barack as a summer associate. I wonder how many bite wounds there were with that one, allegedly in Minecraft. Just kidding, joking, joking. That being said, don't bite people. I didn't think that this was going to be, but y'all want Raccoon City? This is how we get Resident Evil. And I, for one, don't need to see another Mila Jovovich movie, although she is hot. I'll give her that. Well, this is terrifying, and just don't do this. Don't don't go full millennial or whatever this is. She's known as the woman with the world's largest lips. Ew, women, this doesn't look good. Like, I don't know who rejected you, who didn't love you in the past, but having lips that look like they're going through an allergic reaction, it's not the way, sweetheart. It's called mascara. Waterproof. I'm just kidding. I have no idea about dating. Look, I got out of the league a lot of years ago. One too many injections. Having spent over $26,000 on lip filler alone, she has earned the title of Woman with the World's Largest Lips, beating Mick Jagger by a good deal. Now, Adrina Ivanova set out in 2018 to alter her appearance by not only getting a wild amount of lip injections, but also chin shaping, enlargement, lengthening, jaw shaping, cheekbone enhance. She was a beautiful woman before this. And now she looks like something out of a Jim Henson nightmare. Women, don't do this. Just don't. Don't do this. By 2022, the Bulgarian woman had already had 32 procedures done, making her look like a living Bratz doll. Have better dream. Holy Jesus, what in the name of, and she's got no eyebrows. Now, men, I have warned you about this. If women shave off their eyebrows that God gave them to draw on something that they think looks better, it's a sign. That is a sign of cray cray. Stay away. Like, you want to see a red flag, that is a red flag, in my personal opinion. And with the full and distinct knowledge that if God hadn't put my eyebrows on the way they were, I would be stuck with like some parentheses if I try to draw them in. Now, again, these are photos of what she looked like before, and the difference is striking. Yes, You look insane. Now, although Ivanova is aware that her lack of love life is most likely due to her overdoing it with cosmetic procedures, that and knowing it's risky doesn't stop her. Now, my doctor was afraid to inject more acid into my lips, but I was adamant that I wanted more, and I will not stop. But this time, I wanted to experiment with myself to see how many injections and if the amounts of filler would affect my body. Well, obviously, it's made your eyebrows fall out. Now, doctors have even warned the social media model that her injection obsession is dangerous and could potentially be fatal, but that advice won't change her mind. Now, in addition to the many alterations to her facialar region, she's also gotten a boobular augmentation. So she went from a 75C to a 75E. Uh, RIP your shoulders and neck. Now, this might be wild, but Ivanova isn't, well, the only one with the surgeries gone wrong. There was one model who claimed her butt implants fell out. Oh, we have to go to this story. Falling out butt implants? I'm here for it. Detour on Mornings with Mo. She got, I got confused. Also, well, more like I got distracted because butt implants falling out. That's a story for Mornings with Mo. A model traveled to the Caribbean to get butt implants, but they fell out. I have questions. A millennial woman who spent thousands of dollars on implants to, well, enhance her, juicy booty, experienced the unthinkable. Her butt implants fell down or out. So did she just get bigger thighs? Chelsea Robertson, a self proclaimed model. Hey, I'm going to be a self proclaimed model. I'm a self proclaimed, psychic. I'm just going to start self proclaiming myself. I'm going to make the world's weirdest LinkedIn thing. I'm going to be like self proclaimed oldest child prodigy. Uh, Now, she wasn't afraid to spend whatever or wherever it went, to get the results that she wanted. Now, so far, she spent over $140,000 in total on various procedures. So the 29-year-old thought nothing of booking a flight to the Dominican Republic from London in 2019 for a butt implant procedure. Since the Caribbean is known for offering more affordable yet skilled procedures compared to the US. Now, during a sit down interview with British TV personality Olivia Attwood for her UK show, Olivia Attwood, The Price of Perfection, Robson recalls the traumatic story of how her plastic surgery went wrong. When I got back from the Dominican Republic, I went to the gym and I was squatting and I felt something. My leg went all tingly and I felt something come out. My implant was hanging. What Robertson experienced was rare, but it is possible. Excessive implant shifting is typically caused by a tissue pocket that's too large for the implant, which leaves room to shift. So, wait a minute. Does this mean if I got my boobular region affixed to where it was in my teens and then got, well, like faux boobs, just to be, again, back where I was 18, it could end up on my side anyways, like normal boobs? Because I'd be pissed off if I paid for a whole new set of boobs and they still went sideways on me. Greedy bloke, you've won the internet. I'm done. Greedy bloke's taken over. I'm a self-proclaimed proclaimer and I would walk 500 miles. Now that's going to be stuck in my head. And I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more. And if you've seen the movie that is actually attached to that, Benny and June, it's a good movie and it has Johnny Depp in it. So I say go watch the Johnny Depp movie, but then come back for Steven Stearns, or actually watch it after Steven Stearns. You're going to need something to laugh at. So, no, maybe don't get butt implants in the Dominican Republic. To be fair, I'd probably go to Guam just to see if I could tip it over. That being said, gotta love our Senate. In a sad story, and again, I hope the family is getting all of the support, but this is a scary headline. A toddler has passed away after slipping from his father's arms on a water slide in Croatia. Very, very tragic story. A toddler died after slipping from her father's arms while going down a water slide at a Croatian water park. Now, I will say that we haven't gotten to a lot of water parks, but it is, and we didn't go to the parks a lot or pools a lot unless I knew Mr. Mo was going to be with me. Because with all of my little children, I had like little stair step boys, and it's not my older daughter's jobs to watch the kiddos in the pool. So I always wanted to have him there, so we had plenty of eyes on the kiddos. Now, the tragic accident took place at a water park called Aquagon in Croatia. Now, I'm probably mispronouncing what the name actually is. The 21-month-old girl from Germany had been in her father's arm going down the slide when she slipped. Now, according to local media, the infant is believed to have fallen from a height of about 3.5 meters or 11.5 meters onto a concrete floor. Witnesses said that the father cried out, "Don't ask me anything. My daughter is passing," as shocked patrons looked on. Now, a doctor happened to be nearby and immediately began resuscitation efforts and first, responder efforts, and was reportedly able to briefly revive the girl. Emergency crews were quickly on scene and did transport the toddler to hospital by helicopter, and then she was transferred to another medical facility with more specialized treatment. Now, doctors treated her for serious brain trauma and internal injuries, but sadly and heartbreakingly, despite their best efforts, she passed away on the early hours of the following morning. Now, in a statement, the clinical hospital center in Rijeka confirmed that despite prompt care, multiple interventions, and intensive treatment, the child passed away in the morning hours. Now, an eyewitness told local media that he heard shouting and crying before seeing a man carrying his child. "We heard the crying and shouting, and we thought that a child might have drowned." Uh, Markeska Mayor Zdenko Jarzik, and I have probably butchered that entire thing. EU, don't come after me. I don't know how to say these syllables together. How do you say a Z and a D together? Don't know. Graduated before No Child Left Behind. Uh, it's the first serious incident that he's heard of the slide since it was built 2 decades ago. It's an understatement to say we're all extremely shaken, Mayor Zdenko said. When the helicopter landed, everything stopped. We all looked up at the sky and hoped for the best. Now, local police have launched an investigation to determine exactly what went wrong. You know, I don't ask this guy or often, and I know that not everyone, believes in God. If you believe in the universe, the giant spaghetti monster, hold this family, this father in your heart, because I can't imagine. And the doctor who tried to work, all of the medical people who tried to work on this child, because they're going to be heartbroken right now. And I know I put on mostly funny stories, but you know, when I say that it's kind of part of our job when we're having fun to also respect that there are really horrible bad things going on, definitely keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and I hope that they are getting the love and support that they need. And I wouldn't try this, but okay. A deranged EasyJet passenger decided to do a threat, if you will, and other passengers had to tackle him. Um, I'm saying between Bowen and passengers, I don't want to fly ever again. I am bringing back the great American road trip. A deranged passenger Sunday forced an emergency landing at Scotland's Glasgow airport after he yelled that he had an explosive device and on board, and he wanted to send a message to the current president of the United States, who was visiting in Glasgow. Now, harrowing footage aboard EasyJet Flight 609 showed the moment that the suspect, who has only been identified as a 41-year-old man, began shouting out, well, the phrase that would scare the pee out of you if you heard it on an airplane, and making threats to the president, who was just hours away at his Turnberry golf course. I'm going to, explode the plane, death to America, kind of along that. Now, he was quickly tackled to the ground by fellow passengers. Hells yes. Uh, the incident happened around 8 a.m., just an hour after the plane took off at London's Luton Airport. Luton, you don't say. Luton, you don't say. Again, if you are a UK political nerd, you might know where, a certain person that is kind of the Voldemort of British media lives and came from. So Luton, you don't say. The suspect shouted his threats after coming out of the restroom, a witness told The Sun. And at that point, one guy managed to grab him from behind and pull him down. Then everyone jumped on top of him. The passenger said he was fighting on the floor for a bit, but at that point, he knew he'd effed up. Now, the men holding the suspect in place could be seen interrogating him, with several of the passengers slamming him as an idiot for threatening innocent people in a stunt directed toward the current president. The hero passengers were able to keep the man in place until the jet landed, and police and airport officials confirmed that there were actually no devices on board as they took the suspect into custody. Now, as authorities walked the suspect down the aisle, he could be heard asking about his missing phone and wallet, which prompted one passenger to yell, "F off." Yes, and the plane burst into laughter. Scotland police said that this case remains under investigation, with officials noting that the man appeared to act alone and was no greater threat to the public. Yeah, because he was caught. So I'm very glad. Scotland would not be the place that I would try anything. They have already experienced the Lockerbie tragedy, and I'm guessing that if there's any particular locality you don't want to try this in, it would be Scotland. But I'm just American. I've never been to Scotland, but I can't imagine that they take this, lightly. That being said, well, I mean, there are some ways to pay for your summer vacation if you still want to go on that real bougie vacation, but they will involve you selling feet pics. So, uh, good luck with that. I sold feet pics to afford my summer vacation and other weird ways that cash-strapped Americans are paying for travel. I mean, if your feet are cute, I guess as cute as feet can be. Ugh. Ugh. Struggling Americans are doing whatever it takes to fund their much needed summer vacations, taking up surprising side hustles like selling pictures of their feet to faceless fetishists online, or even, cutting meals. According, I love how they're like extremes, skipping a few meals or selling, your feet pictures. And I'm like, I'd skip a couple meals. That's according to a steamy new summer travel poll from Kayak, which showed that 1 in 20 US adults admitted that they're resorting to unconventional methods to pay for their vacation. While the unidentified foot entrepreneur may have chosen to find an atypical side hustle, others are content to subject themselves to more, traditional forms of torture. For example, one determined New Yorker lived on nothing but broccoli until she had enough money to get to Europe, while another brave soul gave a new meaning to the term hot girl summer by settling for an 18-hour drive in a van with no AC to reach her desired destination, while another said they struggled in 90-degree heat painting mailboxes to pay for travel bills. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people do this. This is not a new thing. People get side hustles. Selling feet pics is weird, but it's not like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So there you go. If your tootsies are cute, you can get to Barbados. Must go get a pedicure, not setting up a foot thing. Now, We're back to Lord Chippy because Lord, we have some stories for Lord Chippy. He just has some friends he needs to meet.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Also, this little girl, this 5-year-old little girl is an absolute badass and hero, and I hope she is getting the best help. Banging on the door, a girl 5 years old escapes a home where a man took the lives of 3 women, then himself. A child running away from a gruesome crime scene led authorities to 3 dead bodies and a nearly dead suspect in a case a Florida sheriff deemed heartbreaking. At about 8 p.m. on Thursday, a Nassau County Sheriff's Office, dispatched received a call about a possible shooting at a home on West 12th Avenue in Hilliard, Florida. Arriving deputies tried to make contact with someone inside, but got no response, Sheriff Bill Leeper said in a Friday press conference. Then the deputies opened the unlocked front door. As the door was opened, they observed a female on the floor between the living room and the dining room, lying in a pool of blood. The sheriff detailed. As the deputy moved to make sure there was no present danger, they saw a man lying on the floor in the living room in a puddle of blood as well. Now, he reportedly had an SKS, as we know from the Chandler Halderson case, Tarkov's favorite weapon, I don't know how you play Tarkov. Maybe you are Tarkov or Tarkov is a city. I don't know. But I know that was Chandler's favorite weapon. How is it I can't remember my husband's phone number, but I can definitely remember Chandler Halderson's favorite style of force multiplier on the video game that he liked? There is no rhyme or reason as to what facts my brain takes on board. Now, the deputies continued their protective sweep of the home, finding yet another woman in the bathroom and then a third woman on the floor of a bedroom across the hall from the bathroom. Now, the investigators, checked the women and realized they were all obviously gone. However, the man still had a slight pulse and was airlifted to a nearby hospital in Jacksonville. Investigators believe the man, now identified as 34-year-old Christopher Bobby Rowell, 34, first shot one woman in the living room, dining room before going to the restroom, and then finally the woman in the bathroom. He eventually returned to the living room where he attempted to take his own life. Now, amid all of this, amid this scene of horror and devastation, this little girl was able to escape. And I read this before to make sure because I was like, I can't do one, not today. The child survived, but she is going to have such a lot of healing to do, and I hope she does get it. Like, for once, Michigan DCYF, do a good job. Do your duty by this little girl. A neighbor from across the street told authorities that the child, who was inside the residence at the time of the shooting, came to their house banging on the door, stating that the suspect had just taken the lives of others inside the home. That neighbor called 911. The child gave an account of the trauma she had endured and said she was in the back of the house when all of this started. As she walked down the hallway, she saw the woman lying on the floor. Another female grabbed her and pulled her into the restroom. Oh my God. And that's where the woman in the restroom was shot. So she was with that woman. Now, as of Friday, Rowell was clinically deceased. And I'm okay with that. You know what? Screw this man. Give his organs to people that will use them to spend long, happy times with their families. Just know. Now, the names of the 3 victims have not been released, but everyone was related, and the 3 women are adults, authorities said, based on independent Jacksonville reporting from station WJXT. Now, the child is said to be safe with other relatives, thank God. And the sheriff described the girl as very strong and very brave, but he said that she is deeply traumatized by the incident. If you look at the positive with something like this, it's tragic. It's that the child wasn't injured physically, and the shooter had the courage. Ooh, okay. He said the courage had the shooter to take out the trash himself, although he didn't say it that way, but you get the drift. The sheriff went on to say that it is heartbreaking and totally, totally unnecessary. Now, a neighbor believed to be a different resident than the one that called the police said she began her Friday morning by seeing law enforcement searching her backyard, finding that a bullet had hit her home. It was crazy to think about. You just don't hear about this kind of stuff in Hilliard. I knew that it had hit, Gray said of the bullet. I just didn't know where, and I knew it didn't come from inside. We're thankful for that. Now, Hilliard is located at the very northeast of Florida, located about 30 miles north of Jacksonville. So, keep this little girl also in your thoughts, in your prayers, in your heart, because she is going to have so much she's going to have to deal with. Even though we don't know the identity, I mean, she still saw people lose their lives in front of her. So yes, Lord Chippy applies, even if he could posthumously get a visit. And I don't know what the hell happened here, but to shoot someone over a couch it's Lord Chippy behavior. I've been waiting on this ish. A man stabbed a roommate during a violent argument over sleeping on his mother's couch. And it's an Indiana man. Can't have nice things in Indiana. There is also it's a gross case, but it is Indiana, and I will be doing a video on it because it is absolutely gross and grotesque. She definitely needs a little bit Lord Chippy, but a mother who sold one of her children for basically illegal pharmaceutical money. An Indiana man is behind bars and talking about what put him there after a fatal stabbing this week, Hoosier state authorities say. Draylon Marquise Crutchfield, 25, stands accused of one count of murder, according to Allen County Sheriff's Department. Allen County also is where Richard Allen was, or that's the county where Judge Gold was from. If you're a Richard Allen or Delphi fan, just to kind of link it in. Now, the incident occurred late Thursday night at an apartment complex on Stardale Drive in Oakland Park neighborhood of Fort Wayne. Officers arrived at the scene to find Muhammad Williams, 18, suffering from multiple stab wounds. The stabbed man was rushed to a nearby hospital in life-threatening condition where, despite, medical help, he succumbed to his injuries. Now, the defendant was quickly identified as a person of interest and later arrested at the scene of the crime. Now, the accused killer was allegedly voluble about the altercation. Don't go to sleep on my mama's couch. Do what now? Williams told the defendant sometime after 9 p.m. Crutchfield allegedly told the police, according to a probable cause affidavit obtained by Fort Wayne-based My Network affiliate WPTA. This charge and demand started a brief but eventual violent argument between the two men. Now, Crutchfield, for his part, allegedly said he declined to respond to the initial attack, but Williams kept up the verbal attack. Now, during the argument, Williams had an infant in his hand, which he later passed on to another person as the confrontation developed. Both Crutchfield and witnesses allegedly attest. Now, a third person in the apartment at some point went outside to make a phone call. The defendant allegedly told police, and then Williams' words were said to have become increasingly aggressive. I'm going to beat the ish out of you, Williams allegedly told Crutchfield. I've been waiting on this ish. Now, at this point, Crutchfield allegedly said he was already holding a knife, and he warned him, don't run up on me, bro. Don't run up on me, man. The defendant allegedly said, but apparently Williams didn't listen. Again, God, the lightning strikes are supposed to go near Lori. I didn't make my own Colt yet. You would think the lightning would be over Idaho or Arizona, but no, Indiana. Now, the defendant also claimed that his vision, was blurry. There were some fists thrown before the knife was used. Now, after the stabbing, Williams ran outside and Crutchfield followed, still with knife in hand. At a neighbor's unit, the defendant allegedly pleaded his side of the story. Yeah, because that's what you need at your apartment. Knock, knock, knock. I'm not here to sell you Cutco knives, but I need you to hide this one. Yeah, no, that's a do not open the door kind of thing. Now, the men were later determined after all this investigation to be roommates. Now, Crutchfield is being detained in Allen County confinement without bond. But just stop being a general jackass. Don't get into stupid fights. Now a daughter will never have her father in her life, and you're going to jail in Allen County, which I have heard is not great. So, bon voyage, douchebag. Well, I mean, he's in, jail, not prison. He is assumed innocent. Except he kind of confessed. Remain silent, wait for your defense attorney would be what this defendant's defense attorney will be saying, I'm sure. And I would like to say we need a palate cleanser, and I have one. In a total badass superhero move, a father fought off a mountain lion to save his 4-year-old in Olympic National Park. Again, this is why I stay inside my room. A peaceful family outing at Washington's Olympic National Park turned into a nightmare when a mountain lion attacked a 4-year-old, leading to a dramatic rescue by the child's father that witnesses are calling heroic. It's not heroic. That's your child. You would walk through fire. You would go up against a raging mountain lion. It's not a thinking thing. Like, you don't choose to be brave. It just happens, at least for most people. Or me. Look, and my bravery is more, holding my son's hands when they're getting stitches. I am not a blood person. I do tend to faint. So I'm always firmly seated. But, it's not a thinking thing. You're a parent. For most parents, this is what you do. Lori Vallow, Shanda Vander Ark, I'm looking at you. Most parents want to protect their kids. You could, but you're not really parents. You're incubators. Yeah. The attack occurred Sunday afternoon around 3:15 p.m. on Hurricane Ridge Trail, one of the park's most popular hiking destinations, known for expansive mountain views. Now, the family was walking the well-traveled path when a collared mountain lion suddenly bit the young child. Now, according to the National Park Service, the child's father immediately sprang into action, physically intervening to get his child away from the dangerous predators. Witnesses say that the father's quick thinking and brave response, potentially saved his child's life. I don't think that child would have survived if his dad didn't jump in, said Steve Murrow, who was hiking nearby with his family when the attack occurred. He's a hero. It just boils down to safety in numbers, and it's rare that something like this would happen. I have a question, and here's what I would question. Generally, typically, animals stay away from places where a lot of humans are. So is having these national parks accustoming these animals to having a lot of people around, decreasing their fear of people and possibly leading to more of these attacks? I'm not a biologist. I'm not a doctorologist. I just don't know, if that's a thing and if that's something that should be looked into. Now, Murrow and his father-in-law heard the child's screams and rushed to the area where they found the mother holding the injured child while other hikers provided comfort and assistance to the shaken family. Park rangers and paramedics quickly responded to the emergency call, airlifting the child to Harbor View Medical Center in Seattle for treatment. Now, hospital officials later confirmed that the child was in satisfactory condition and has since been released. Now, the mountain lion, which was fitted with a research tracking collar, remained in the area after the attack. Rangers launched an immediate search effort, joined by a specialized canine team around 5 p.m. The animal was located shortly after and eliminated to eliminate the threat. Now, the park rangers had said that there is no, threat anymore because that lion has been taken care of. Now, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services advises anyone encountering a mountain lion to make themselves appear larger and more aggressive by opening jackets, raising arms, throwing stones or branches while maintaining eye contact. Okay, I can barely stand up and fight gravity, but I will try those things. Dear Lord, please let this be one of the nuggets of information I remember. Also, please help me remember my husband's phone number without having to look it up, because I do look like a jackass when I tell people how long we've been married. Thank you. So, also, never run from a mountain lion, as this can trigger their chasing instinct. Okay. Now, there are really rare attacks, so you probably don't have to keep this in, but again, this is why I am an inside cat. Well, ladies, the search is over. Now we can put our makeup on at night. What in the name of stupid is going on here? Oh, millennial stupid. Well, that works. Her beauty hack is no longer under wraps. A UK-based makeup influencer, Sam Begum, is dividing the internet with her head-scratching yet speedy makeup routine, a full face of cosmetics applied to a piece of plastic wrap at night, then slapped on her face in the morning. Okay, guys, you come home and your chick is doing this. Now, I have done a lot of ridiculous things, like dressed up as a dude, as a lesbian Garth from, Wayne's World, and it made a puppet of oh gosh, Hanky Panky from the Karen Reed trial. But I can assure you, I've never done anything this weird and filmed it. Now, Begum, 23, starts by sticking a clean piece of plastic to her naked face, and then she applies foundation, concealer, blush, and bronzer onto the film, and then steps it aside. The next morning, she finishes the routine by reversing the plastic and placing all of that on her face. I have so many questions. Please tell me what this looks like. All right, we get to see what this looks like, because this is... What in the name of why and no, and what in the general... Okay, well, in that special, if y'all have a piece of cling wrap, now, if I was gonna do anything funny with cling wrap, I'd do a fried green tomatoes and answer the door in a dress made of it, like Kathy Bates did, and then I'd probably have to pay the Amazon deliverer that, goes by our house. That being said, if I'm gonna do something funny with cling wrap, it's gonna be the Kathy Bates from, fried green tomatoes. Girl mathing 20 more minutes in bed, reads the caption of one of her videos showing the technique, which has amassed over 7 million views since it was posted June 30th. The once viral hashtag girl math refers to the illogical way women justify purchases, or in this case, putting cosmetics on plastic wrap. Now, some TikTokers said that it was a glam game changer. Meal prepping makeup, one person said. I'm influenced. Others weren't so rosy. I can't explain it, but this, pissed me off, another person said in a comment that's racked up over 2,000, likes. Imagine all that bacteria on that cling film, and then you absorb it on the street by blending it all in. Now, on July 14th, Begum urged her followers to create a hole in the mouth of the plastic area if they decide to try out their technique. Jesus Christ. She's like, "You guys, this is totally plastic though, so you have to cover, do a air hole." Again, if a makeup routine requires you to, put an air hole into plastic, I look, y'all, I'm still gonna just spend 10 minutes putting on my makeup, which is 10 more minutes than I used to, but probably less time than trying to keep myself out of a little hug jacket when I explained to Mr. Mo why I have a piece of cling wrap over my face with a mouth hole trying to put makeup on it. So I'm just gonna leave this whole beauty, tip behind. Now, Begum did not respond for requests for comments. I hope that she put a mouth hole in that day and she's just, busy. Well, I don't know if this is the most Florida MacGyver moment ever. And yes, we are experiencing the wrath of God right now. Storm. So if I cut out, I will end this on my phone, but we are doing okay. We are hanging out and being connected. Florida deploys furry robot rabbits to fight invasive Burmese pythons. I mean, Thumper looks so cute. Oh God, Thumper! And then it does it explode? What the hell does it do? Oh, look at cute little Thumper here. A water management district in the Florida Everglades is using robot rabbits to help monitor and eventually eliminate its ever growing population of invasive Burmese pythons. The solar-powered rabbits were let loose in the Everglades shortly after the annual Florida Python Challenge, the 10-day competition that draws, hundreds of eager snake wranglers to hunt the invasive reptiles. The robot bunnies, while cartoonish in appearance, are equipped with artificial intelligence powered cameras that alert officials with South Florida Water Management District when they spot a python. Now, from there, someone will be dispatched to remove the snake. Oh, I thought they blew up or something. The robots were designed to mimic real rabbits' movements, including mechanics that, intimate a live heat signature and sense, which the pythons hone in on while hunting real-life bunnies. Well, there you go. It even heats up. I want one now. I mean, the invasive pythons can measure as long as 18 feet in length and are capable of swallowing an entire deer. So definitely Florida seems to be getting serious about getting the pythons out of there. That being said, it's pretty cute. I'd get one. I mean, it's less creepy than having like a robot, so that would be cool. Well, sometimes there is no good time for romance. I have 6 kids, I know that. But there's also a time and place, and I would say the tool shed at Lowe's, probably not the time or the place. But, what am I to do to stop self-love? A man, cops to tool time in the Lowe's display shed. Now, with no defense in hand, a man has pled guilty to an obscenity charge for, well, pleasuring himself inside a storage shed for sale at a Lowe's in Louisiana, as you do. George Calavias, 66, copped to the felony charge during a district court hearing Monday. Now, as pictured above, he was locked up on a $15,000 bail after his May 11th arrest at a Lowe's outlet in Slidell, a city in St. Tamiami Parish. Now, he was released from custody following his July 14th plea deal. As detailed in the Slidell Police Department report, cops responded to the home improvement store upon receiving a 911 call from a store manager about a male subject naked inside a shed for sale at the Lowe's parking lot. Wait, can I get that for a discount? Because I need a shed no matter what my HOA says. Now, during a canvass of the store sheds, Officer Brian LeBlanc discovered, well, George laying in a supine position, so on his back on the floor of the shed beneath the window. Now, his pants and underwear were around his ankle, and he was using his left hand to, well, hold himself. Now, LeBlanc noted that there was an open tub of Vaseline to the immediate left of him, and he was watching an unknown video on his cellular phone. He even had his earbuds in. He was prepared. I mean, not many people have a jar of Vaseline on them at any circumstance. I'm telling you, apparently the thunderstorm that was supposed to hit Lori is hitting me. Now, after being handcuffed and read his rights, George advised that he had been, well, to quote him, jacking off, end quote, inside the enclosure, just one of the several sheds that Lowe's had on display for sale. While customers are free to, look inside these, he had no reasonable explanation of or expectation of privacy inside the shed and shouldn't have done it. Yeah, a different kind of snake, if you will. So, note to self, if you were thinking like good idea, bad idea. Bad idea. Very bad. In a happy, awesome story, a dog lost in the Alaskan wilderness was found by a pilot 9 days later. And he's a good boy. A dog who went missing during a camping trip in Alaska was found over a week later by a pilot who decided to go searching in his small plane. Soldotna residents Louis and Amber Ulicki said that they were camping near Carmen Lake over the 4th of July when their dog Coda became spooked and ran off. We tried to grab his collar, Louis said, but he grabbed his frisbee and said, "No, I'm out." Now, the couple spent 9 days searching for Coda on foot and by boat, but couldn't find any sign of the dog. They posted about the missing dog on several Facebook groups, getting the attention of multiple volunteer searchers, including pilot John Krager. "I had just had a real feeling, I don't know, a gut feeling that I was going to find the dog," John said. Now, the pilot landed his plane about a half a mile from where Coda disappeared, and the dog appeared within minutes. "Here comes this dog out of the adders, or Adler's way coming over to me, but wouldn't get any closer than about 10 feet, John said. Now, he used some dog treats that he kept in his plane to lure Coda to come close enough to him so he could secure him with a rope and load him in the train for the flight back to Anchorage for a reunion with his owners. Uh, the sucker punched to our gut for 9 days, and afterwards, it was just like this huge weight was lifted off our shoulders, and it's just so great to have him back," Amber said. So he's getting all the treats. Well, because he was going out to find the dog, so he put dog treats in there. The article wasn't clear if he always has dog treats, though. You are right. It's not that clear, or he just had them for this particular flight. I'm going to choose just this particular flight, but maybe he's a dog pilot. Who knows? The world is a strange and wonderful place, and I do not have all the answers. But I do have an answer for what you should do in this situation, and it is no. The answer is no. All the no. Please don't be Indiana. Please don't be Indiana. Please don't be Indiana. A man was busted for a sex toy heist at Walmart. As you do. And this is, I think, a final form Florida man. A Florida man is behind bars on felony charges for a pair of Walmart sex toy heists. A pair. So we didn't do this just once. We did this twice. Jeffrey LaFlorge, 40, was arrested on Friday for a pair of theft counts for which he's being held in lieu of $10,000 bonds. Now, on 2 separate occasions, police charged that LaForge, seen at the right, swiped a variety of adult toys from a Walmart in South Pasadena, a Pinellas County city. The joke's right itself. And yes, they do. Over the family, what they kindly call the family planning corner that has the oh shit test and the wrap them up, so you don't get an oh shit test devices. Now, so apparently he is the, French tickler, thief. He is the one. He's been unmasked. Now, security cameras recorded him removing items from their packaging and departing Walmart without paying them. A total of $280 were stolen, including a Tushy toy and an oral stroker, whatever that means. LaForge is also accused of stealing a Reese peanut butter's ice cream, costing $4. I sincerely hope that all of these items won't be used at the same time, but it is Florida Man, and I am not convinced. Oh, good Lord, he stole. Yeah, I'm not going to read the names of these. This is on the smoking gun if you would like to see exactly what he stole. But he did get some peanut butter ice cream, so there you go. Now, it's unclear whether the toys were intended for personal use or resale, although the lack of packaging might cause a prospective buyer to, not buy them. Since the merchandise was valued less than $1,000, the sex toy thefts would have normally been charged as a misdemeanor. However, owing to his, extensive criminal history of multiple thefts, the counts have been enhanced to felonies. On a related note, who knew that the Walmart, retailer had such items? Now I'm, y'all, not thinking about going directly to my Walmart to see if all of these things are available in my locality. But I do have actual work to do, so probably won't do that today, but next time in Walmart, I am looking for these things just for some giggles. I mean, to be honest, just for some giggles. In our final story, we have found a wallaby. This is the second wallaby that has escaped from a zoo. Wallabies don't play. I used to think honey badgers don't play. Apparently, wallabies will not be caged. An escaped wallaby from Belgium has been captured in France. And the wallaby crossed state lines? Aw, he's a cute wallaby. I want a wallaby. Also, as fast as that's going, there's no way I'd have caught that. Don't. I'm a terrible person because all I was thinking when I saw them put the wallaby in the cage was the Jurassic Park, the first original Jurassic Park cage scene where he's like, she's gonna get him. She's been thinking. Clever girl. I just see that wallaby being like the velociraptors in the first good, Jurassic Park. Oh my gosh, it was a full-on prison break. There were 2 wallabies that escaped their owner's home in Belgium. Why do you have a pet wallaby in Belgium and not just 1 but 2? Questions I would like to ask. Now, one of the animals was captured days later after crossing the border into France. The city of Mascaron, Belgium, said on social media that the 2 wallabies escaped from their home in Hersau? Look, I apologize to Belgium and the greater global community for my lack of being able to pronunciate. So there you go. Do not process me to The Hague. Now, at least one of the Australian marsupials crossed the border into France, where it was wrangled by firefighters in Waltrels in order to capture the wallaby safely, painlessly. Technicians deployed a net to prevent escape, then grabbed the marsupial by the tail to avoid causing injuries. This technique is completely painless for the animal and avoiding blows with the tail, scratches by the paw, or potentially defensive bites. The wallaby was wrangled into the cage and returned to its owner. Now, the second wallaby remains on the lam. Oh my god, could you imagine The Fugitive, but instead of, Harrison Ford, it's a wallaby? If only I had the editing tech or the editing skills to do that, because it would be okay, to me, it would be hilarious AF if you got, Tommy Lee Jones looking at a wallaby, "I don't care," and then she just jumped. Excuse me, I would think things are funny, they're probably not. So there you are. That is the news for today. Remember the heroes we learned about, especially the military veteran who stopped an attack, even though there were still injuries, everyone is healing, you know, and the father that, fought off a mountain lion, followed by, it was a one-armed kangaroo. Oh my God, I would watch the hell out of that. To be fair, I like stupid things. That being said, guys, we are going to continue to work on the Stephen Stern document today. And then tonight, I have something in the community notes, but Shizzy and I are going to restart kind of from the beginning his Disturbed series, and we're looking into cults, my favorite thing. And we are starting with the Twins Flame universe. Now, if you don't know this, we've been going over several documentaries. I am learning all about the Twin Flames universe, and I have some thoughts because holy what in the cray cray. That being said, I am going to be doing more night streams with Shizzy. So Monday will be on his stream. Wednesday will be on my stream. We are going to start looking at the transcripts in the Delphi case and start with, pretrial stuff, give you kind of a grounding of who people are in the case for Wednesday. And then Friday, we are going to just do a shenanigans stream in the evening to get you guys ready for Friday Night Lights. So that is the plan. And then I will be coming up with a more kind of structured schedule to share to you to kind of give you ideas of where I'm going to be, what channel I'm going to be on, because I am working hard on setting up my crafting channel so I can craft with you on days like today that are going to be just craptastic because it's all going to be storms. That being said, thank you all so much for sharing your mornings with me and making this so fun. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire. Oh, final housekeeping thing. I am working on an order of the sacred flame holders. No, wait. How did I do this honorific? Dang it. I have all these thoughts that at 3 a.m. that I think are really good, and then I write them down and I'm like, what was I thinking? So the holder of the bronze flame from the sacred sisterhood of the eternal bitch fire. So I am working on, a song, a stinger for those people, especially who hold the flame, hold the memory of the victims, or are survivors of incredible evil. So I am working on that, but you guys know my tech skills. So that being said, I will catch up with you guys, chat at you later at 11 as we go through um, more Stephen Stearns. We are still only in the part where they are looking for Maddie, but starting to get very concerned. After I get through this part of the documents, I plan to watch the videos of the interrogations. That'll probably be a Monday thing. I can't do a whole week of Stearns. It just would kill my soul. But I'm okay to do Shanda, which is weird. Now, I will be putting in a poll on my community tab. Like I said, y'all are, the people that are going on the tour with the Petty Express. So if you'd like to continue with Lori and the Brandon Boudreaux case, we can do that. I personally, though, am on a bit of a Lori. I'm a little over Lori, But the Shanda Vander Ark case is an incredibly hard case. So if that's not something you guys want to handle right now, we will totally do the Lori. But I want to give you guys a chance to vote on that. So that will be in the community section probably today. And we will tackle that on Wednesday. I do hope, like all things going great and, future me being on top of it, to attempt my first craft stream tomorrow, hopefully. I just need to find a couple things in the chaos of my house because it's all torn up. I have no idea how to spell Brandon Boudreaux. That's why I just put his name as Brandon on the little banner thing because I was like, I'm gonna do this wrong. So I am going to get off of here and make sure that Mr. Mo is set up for the day. Next week, kiddos are going back to school. Trying not to be too excited about that as a mom, but I love my kids, but I can't wait to have some quiet. They are not as excited as I am that school's getting ready to go back. But thank you guys so much. And I'll chat at you in just a little bit because we're going to or not Brandon, we're going to Steven Stearns. I will chat at you later, guys. Bye.